Have you ever stopped to think about that day that would change your life forever? The day when all things take an unexpected turn and you find yourself immersed in a mystery that makes you question, why? What if I told you that this day has come for a mother, a family, and a little child? It was a morning like any other in the quiet town of Itapira, in the interior of Sao Paulo. A Monday that would have been just another day in the life of Jennifer Natalia Pedro. Or would it? She took her children to daycare, went to the supermarket with her grandmother, but what happened next would change everything. One decision, one departure from home, and an empty room. What could have happened? Where is Isis Helena, the little girl who hadn't even turned 2 yet? A mother returns to find the gate open, the door ajar, but her daughter is not there. Questions begin to pile up like pieces of a sinister puzzle. A grandfather with Alzheimer's, an empty mattress, the mystery takes shape. What could have led Isis Helena, such a vulnerable child, to disappear without a trace? Welcome to the Criminal Chronicles channel. If you're fascinated by inexplicable mysteries and intriguing challenges, this is the right place for you. Welcome to another video full of sinister enigmas and stories that will captivate your attention from start to finish. If you love unraveling intriguing cases and diving into mysterious narratives, don't waste any time and join us right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any details of the mysteries we're going to explore together from now on. And of course, if you can give that like right at the beginning of the video, know that it makes all the difference so I can continue to bring engaging content to you. Let's dive headfirst into another intriguing journey. Here we go. Isis Helena Rosa, according to information from her relatives, came into the world prematurely, at just 5 months of gestation, and had microcephaly, requiring specific medical treatments. At the time when the events to be narrated occurred, she was 1 year and 10 months old, but had not yet taken her first steps or uttered her first words. On a Monday morning on March 2nd, 2020, in the peaceful town of Itapira, located in the interior of the state of Sao Paulo, Jennifer Natalia Pedro, the mother of Isis Helena, took the initiative to take her other 2 children to daycare. Then, accompanied by her grandmother, she went to the supermarket, located just a few blocks from her home, to withdraw her grandmother's pension money. Meanwhile, Isis Helena remained in her room, facing the street, asleep on her mattress. In another part of the house was Jennifer's grandfather, an octogenarian gentleman, possibly suffering from Alzheimer's, oblivious to any activity. Jennifer ensured that her absence from home was brief, and upon her return, she found the gate and the door open, but her daughter was nowhere to be found inside the house. On the same day, the disappearance of Isis Helena was formally reported to the authorities at the Women's Police Station, Delegacia de Defesa da Mulher, DDM, in Itapira. The initial report pointed to the suspicion of abduction since the child was wearing a pink onesie at the time of her disappearance, initiating an investigation based on the abduction of an incapacitated person. Pooling their efforts, teams from the civil police, military police and civil guard, along with the fire department, civil defense, and numerous volunteers, as well as family members, launched an exhaustive search throughout the city of Itapira and its surroundings. During the searches, sniffer dogs led teams to dense vegetation areas, but without success. The local lake was also thoroughly explored by divers. The child's father raised allegations of negligence against Jennifer, claiming that she had left the child unattended at home, under the care of an elderly man over 80 years old. Given Helena's special needs, the possibility of abduction was not ruled out, since it would have been impossible for the child to leave the home on her own. On March 11th, the civil police requested a court order to access the phone records of Isis Helena's parents, with the aim of cross-referencing their messages and calls with the versions presented in their statements. Jennifer Natalia, after reporting to the civil police on March 12th that she was receiving threats, was granted protective measures. Shortly after, authorities received an alarming tip-off indicating that the girl might be dead in her own home, the place from which she had supposedly disappeared. In response, the family allowed authorities to enter the residence for a thorough investigation. On the same day, witnesses gave statements to the civil police, claiming they had seen the child on the day of her disappearance and pointed out a location where the baby might have hidden. Simultaneously, investigators worked to reconstruct Jennifer's route from the moment she went to the market with her grandmother. The vehicle they used that day was seized for forensic examination. On the night of March 13th, the forensic police arrived at Isis Helena's residence, where she lived with her two siblings, her mother Jennifer, who is 20 years old, and her great-grandparents, located in the Jardim Raquel neighborhood in Itapira. The team conducted searches and used luminol to identify potential blood traces. Additionally, security cameras recorded Jennifer on the morning of the disappearance, riding a motorcycle and carrying a backpack and a bag. The mother claimed to have disposed of the bag, while the backpack was seized and sent to the São Paulo Institute of Criminalistics for residue analysis. Investigators also searched two other addresses related to the girl's family. The forensic examination, which lasted for about 4 hours, drew a large crowd of onlookers, but unfortunately, no significant evidence was found. The investigations proceeded under a judicial gag order, with the collaboration of the General Investigations Department of Mogi Guacu, the Specialized Anti-Kidnapping Department of Campinas, and the Women's Defense Department of Itapira. Police intelligence work in the field and meticulous analysis of security camera footage were conducted, revealing that Jennifer's versions were inconsistent with the evidence. In light of these findings, a referral to the public prosecutor's office was made, resulting in Jennifer's temporary arrest on April 17th in order to continue the investigations. Additionally, sniffer dogs detected traces of her and Isis Helena's presence near a waterfall in the area. Confronted with the course of the investigations, which undermined her versions, Jennifer found herself compelled to provide a new account of the events. Finally, her statement aligned with the investigation's conclusions. On April 20th, Jennifer admitted her guilt in the crime against her own daughter and confessed that Isis Helena was dead. She explained that she had hidden the child's body out of fear of the consequences she would face if her responsibility was discovered, especially because she had previously been reported for abuse. However, she claimed that Isis's death was a tragedy. The following day, the attorney representing her decided to withdraw from the case, citing a breach of trust after the client's confession. According to Jennifer's statement to the police, the child had a fever and had been given ibuprofen the night before her death. In the early morning, Jennifer fed her daughter with a bottle and went back to sleep. When she woke up at around 6:15 a.m., she found the child cold, with her mouth filled with foam and remnants of milk, and realized that Isis was lifeless. The child had suffered seizures and died from asphyxiation. Faced with this tragic scenario, Jennifer took her other children to daycare, retrieved her motorcycle from her mother's house, and returned home, consumed by fear of what might happen. She placed the child's body in a backpack and headed to the Duas Pontes neighborhood, near the Rio do Peixe. There, she bid farewell to her family and threw Isis's body into the river. Jennifer claimed to have seen the child's body sink, but after some time it resurfaced and was carried away by the current, disappearing from her sight. Later, she returned home and, upon arrival, reported her daughter's disappearance. Jennifer's mother, Rosalie, expressed surprise at the confession and assured that she had no knowledge of her daughter's involvement in her granddaughter's death, denying any attempt to withhold information about a possible crime to protect her descendant. In the 5 days following the confession, firefighters and the civil defense intensified their search along the river, hoping to find at least some remnants or any evidence indicating the child's presence in the area. On April 21st, the day Isis Helena would have turned 2 years old, family members paid an emotional tribute to the child in front of her father's house, where she spent weekends. On April 24th, the First Court of Itapira ordered Jennifer's pre-trial detention after accepting the public prosecutor's charges, accusing her of the crimes of intentional homicide, concealment of a corpse, and false reporting of a crime. Jennifer began serving her pre-trial detention at the Mogi Guacu Women's Penitentiary. Almost 3 months after the disappearance, Isis Helena's body was found buried on April 29th, along the trail about 50 meters from the bridge where Jennifer claimed to have thrown her daughter into the river. The discovery came after the suspect provided a new version of the crime the day before. Police and the involved lawyers highlighted that Jennifer had given several contradictory versions during the inquiry. However, the autopsy report clarifying the cause of the child's death was not mentioned in any of the sources consulted. Some reports suggested that the combination of Isis's serious health issues and her mother's negligence, who had already been reported for child abuse, may have contributed to the child's death. The body of young Isis Helena was buried at the Itapira Municipal Cemetery in the late afternoon of the day it was discovered, following a private ceremony attended by her father, grandmother, and other relatives. Jennifer Natalia Pedro was transferred to the Women's Penitentiary in Tremembe, Sao Paulo, on April 30th, known for housing female inmates involved in high-profile cases. Later, Jennifer recanted her statement and claimed to have been assaulted by other inmates, ultimately declaring her innocence in the crime. 4 months after Jennifer's arrest on July 9th, a forensic expert hired by the defense team made a surprising claim. The remains found did not belong to Isis Helena. Furthermore, the defense argued that Jennifer had only confessed to the crime after being subjected to torture. In light of this allegation, a new forensic analysis was requested, and its results were released on July 17th. According to this new report, the analysis indicated a 99.9% probability that Raphael, the biological father, was responsible for the remains found. The defense team still had the option to challenge this new analysis, since genetic material from the child's mother had not been collected. The first preliminary hearing for the case took place on December 3rd at the Itapira courthouse. During this stage, witnesses and Isis Helena's mother provided testimony. The court decided that the defendant should be tried by a jury. However, on the night of February 22nd, 2021, Jennifer Natalia Pedro, at the age of 22, was found dead inside the Tremembe Women's Penitentiary. A prison guard discovered Jennifer hanging by a sheet tied to the bars and window of her cell, where she lived alone. The prison unit's doctor attempted to resuscitate her, but found her vital signs were weak. Jennifer was rushed to the city's emergency room, but did not survive the journey to the hospital. The initial investigation indicated that Jennifer had committed suicide, but the Institute of Forensic Medicine, IML report, suggested that she was a homicide victim. Available information suggests that the cause of death was mechanical asphyxiation, consistent with strangulation. Within the prison environment, the version obtained was that she had been hanged. Jennifer was awaiting a favorable decision on her habeas corpus application, but was facing conflicts with other inmates and internal reprisals, which could have contributed to her death. Despite this, Jennifer's mother rejected the idea that her daughter had committed suicide. In her correspondence with Jennifer, Rosalie stated that her daughter had never shown any intention of taking her own life. Jennifer also mentioned in her letters that she would report the assaults and that a cellmate was willing to testify on her behalf. The letters also described moments when Jennifer claimed to have been beaten to the point of fearing the loss of vision in her left eye, as well as incidents where female prison officers entered her cell to assault her. Rosalie, Jennifer's mother, claimed to recognize the handwriting in the letters as that of her daughter. Jennifer was under punishment when she was found dead. Rosalie stated that there was evidence of injuries on her body when she went to the IML for identification. In a statement, the Secretariat of Public Security reported that Jennifer was found unconscious in her cell, where she was alone. The case was registered as a completed suicide at the Taubat police station, and the Department of Penitentiary Administration, SAP, opened an investigation into the incident. However, Jennifer's lawyer, William Oliveira, questioned this version, alleging that there was no on-site forensic examination and that doubts had arisen about whether Jennifer died in her cell or on the way to the hospital. He emphasized that the Sao Paulo State Public Security Department released more than one version of Jennifer's death, stating, "First they said she was found dead, and there was an attempt at resuscitation. Then they said she was rescued alive, but arrived at the medical facility dead." In the lawyer's opinion, evidence indicates that the scene was manipulated by more than one person, and Jennifer was murdered because she was about to be released from prison. Traces of a possible crime were identified at the scene, as observed by an expert who analyzed photos of the location, which may reveal what actually happened in prison. Now, Jennifer's mother seeks justice, and if the homicide is confirmed, the family plans to sue the state. And thus, we conclude another fascinating dive into the shadows of the world of crimes and mysteries. If you were intrigued by the twists, puzzles, and engaging narratives we've explored here on the Chronicles of Crime channel, don't miss the chance to join us on this ongoing journey. Subscribe to the channel now to not miss any electrifying episodes that are yet to come. Each case, every detail meticulously investigated, relies on your support to keep happening. Leave your like, because that's what motivates us to continue bringing you quality content and thorough investigations. Comments are also essential. Share your theories, opinions, and ideas. Your participation makes this community even richer and full of energy to unravel the greatest criminal mysteries. Remember, producing videos as engaging as this is a challenge, but with your support, we can continue to explore stories that stir our investigative instincts. So don't waste any time. If you're not yet part of this passionate community of mystery and intrigue lovers, click the subscribe button, activate notifications, and leave your mark in the comments and likes. Together, we will uncover the most complex secrets of the criminal underworld. Until the next video, detectives,